Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Desert Life and Adventures. Today I'm going to be showing you a little trick I learned not too long ago and maybe help you through it. You can kind of see I'm in my new garage here. The story behind it, got some issues with my computer, having trouble editing some videos, putting everything together. So I'm going to try to get this one out, and we'll do a full video on them getting this set up and some of the issues we ran into. But what I'm doing today is, you can see here, I've started organizing, built me a workbench. Over here, I'm setting up my my welding area, and so one of the things I got to do is build a welding table. And I had this piece of metal here that I salvaged from somewhere, and what I found out was, yeah, it's not quite thick enough for a welding table, so I'm going to have to buy a sheet, as bad as I hate to, and as high as prices are for metal right now. But as you can see, it's pretty rusty. What I'm going to do with this right here is I'm going to cut it down, because over here on my workbench that I built, I'm going about, I don't know, 32 inches or so here, and put down a piece of plate, attach it to the bench, and then I've got my big old vise over here, and that's where I'm going to mount it. But I want a piece of metal there where, you know, I can put stuff up there, put it in the vise, work on it, pound on it a little bit, whatever I need to do, and I want that metal to protect my workbench. So we've got some stuff laid out here, simple items. You need some paper towels, shop rags, anything like that. It's just some regular white vinegar and some plastic. Those simple things. I'll show you what you can do with this rust. Okay, so the first thing we did here is we got us some plastic. Small items I've used, like saran wrap, that kind of stuff. This is just a painter's plastic. Got just some shop towels here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to lay these shop towels out, and you want to cover the entire piece you're working with. So just get those laid out on there. So once again, good cheap items. Oh, and I guess I should say, one of the things I did, this piece of metal been laying outside for years. Don't know how long. I gathered it up from a property that was getting cleaned up. And so I actually, there was some old metal I cut off of the bottom part of it, and it had some scale rust on it. So I actually took my my DA here, and I got some 40 grit on it, and I just run it over that good to get mainly that scale off. It didn't do much for the surface rust, but just a 40 grit DA and clean it up a little bit. So you want to take your shop towels, your cloth, whatever you're going to use. You want to cover the entire surface. Now, that's a pretty big surface. I've done this with a lot of smaller items. See if this will work better. I've actually done an entire car hood with it. I've taken some parts from my old car that I'm restoring, and I've actually an old rusted battery box, and I put it in a bucket big enough to hold it, and of course it wasn't quite big enough, so I had to, turn it every now and then, and I left it in there for 3 or 4 days to get it taken care of. But You can do this with a lot of parts. Yeah, not that big. So one of the biggest things you're going to want to do, we're going to cover this, we're going to soak it with the vinegar. And then the idea behind it is you're going to take the plastic and put over it, and that keeps it so it doesn't evaporate. And I can tell you what, that's a little tough here in the desert of Arizona, that's for sure. So you just want to saturate that good. And you can actually, depending on how bad your rust is, you can actually take and spray some vinegar on there, let it set for a while, and wipe it with a rag and get some of the rust off. Okay, so we got this soaked down real good, and you probably can't see it, but where I just moved that paper towel, the rust is actually already starting to come off. That's probably a bit better if I had a spray bottle. So first we're gonna get that soaked good. Next, we're going to cover this. I don't know if you can see it or not. The rust is actually starting to come off and come through the paper towel there. So, what we want to do, we get that soaked. We want to get it covered with our plastic. Try to get as much of the air out as possible. And you know, you take it over. That's what I'll do. We'll go ahead and clamp down good. I'll just say tighten it. Get that plastic down on there, as much of the air out as you can. Get a little more out here in the back. Okay, so there we go. So that's your main part right there. I poked a little hole in my plastic. But the main idea is to keep it moist. I will probably, I'll probably let this sit no more than it was on there. It could probably come off by the end of the day and get it cleaned up, but I'll probably leave it a good 12 to 24 hours, depends on what I have going on in here in the shop today. Still trying to get some other stuff organized and straightened up, and as you can see, quite a chore, but at least I've got my garage. Waited almost 2 years here to get my garage, and so I'll bring you back when I unwrap this thing and show you what it looks like. Okay, so it's been about 4 hours and I've been peeking. Let's go ahead and unveil this and see what this thing looks like, see how it worked. Okay, if you look at that now, I mean, you can see what it did. It's a big difference. I mean, some of that looks better than new metal, but it'd be like metal with the mill scale or any of the oil on it that you sometimes have. If I left it on there overnight, probably do even better. There's a little bit of pitting in there, but what I'll do now is the piece that I'm going to cut a piece out of that to put over on my workbench over there, like I said before. And depending on how much I cut out, you know, it's not going to hurt to have a little rust on it. And I may actually, once I get my piece cut out and done the way I want to do it, I may actually hit it again. So there you go. incredible rust removal using common shop tools, easily bought items, and a little time. So probably what I'll do is, since part of my videos are going to be on, finish up and organizing my shop, I'm insulating the walls and then putting up some sheeting, doing my little areas over here for, just different things. Like say, got a welder set up here. I'll be putting a welding bench over under this window. Probably my grinder set up there. I've got my stainless chrome polishing set up going over here. But I've got to continue insulating and putting up my sheeting and my pegboard. So maybe what I'll do is just continue this video, because my next plan is to go ahead and get a piece made here for my workbench, and I'll show you how it turns out. So catch you. Okay, so here we are back. Told you guys I'd bring you back and show you how we ended up with this piece of metal, and I went ahead and got it done here. Took the DA and hit it with some 40 grit. Took and scored the back side of it enough that I could bend that plate up and make me a backstop there against the back of my bench. And then I got my vise mounted. So yeah, worked out well. Those rusted areas, it's a little bit pitted there. No big deal. I actually think it gives it a little bit of character. So that's what I ended up with after I'd done the rust prevention, or rust removal, I guess. Not prevention, but yeah. So I want to thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.